Mr. Hill, thank you for being here with us today.
Well, pleasure.
I want to start with the Brown case. How did you get involved in that case?
Well, that's Spotswood Robinson and Martin, A. Martin, that was our firm, Hill, Martin, and Robinson in those days. And we were sitting back in the library working on a motion for further relief in a case known as Corbin versus Pulaski. It's up in Pulaski, in the western part of the state. And the telephone rang about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was nearest to the phone, so I reached over and got it. And Barbara Johns was on the other end saying that they had gone out on a strike, and she described what had happened that day. And I congratulated her and told her that was a fine thing they'd done now that they had made that point to go on back to school. And she said, no, they wanted to make a real point, and they wanted to stay out, and they wanted us to go up and represent them. And I said, well, we just filed a suit down in Clarendon County, South Carolina. We don't need one suit to prove a point, challenging segregation per se. And but anyway, she was so persistent. So I said, all right, we're going to Christiansburg Wednesday morning, and we'll leave a little early and stop by the church, and you'll be Reverend Griffin's church, and we'll stop by and talk about it. So that's where we got started.
Even though the Clarendon case you thought was a stronger case?
No, it's just first. It was just, they had got ahead of us on the issue. They had I forget the man's name, the preacher down there. But anyway, the suit had been filed. We all participated in it, and it was a waiting trial. That was all. We just had nobody had thought about filing a suit at that time against challenge and segregation per se. We still had a whole lot of suits pending, which we were trying under the separate but equal doctrine.
So you went in these cases from trying to make separate equal to trying to do away with separate. Was that considered a big jump?
No, well, see, here was the situation. You know about the young man Garland giving the NAACP a large sum of money.
Right.
And to fight segregation. Charlie had one of his classmates, I forget his name right this second, to make a study and recommend the best use for it. He made a study and came back, suggested that we challenge education and that we file suits all over the South simultaneously. Well, Charlie said that was looking more like a stunt than something serious. Plus, we didn't have the manpower to do it anyway. And this is all in the early 30s. This is the time we first entered law school. I'm talking about, when I say we, I'm talking about third grade and me. But anyway, to make a long story short, Charlie suggested that what we ought to do is challenge this separate but equal at its weakest point, and that is the inequality. Everything was separate, but nothing was equal. And that was the reason for doing that. Charlie's reasons that it challenged segregation per se at that time would be like batting your head against a stone wall. And the best proof of it is that 24 years later, I'm talking from the time we entered law school, until we got the decision, 24 years later, we still batting our head against a stone wall because they came up with massive resistance. So you know what would have happened if we had filed suit back in 1930.
But by the time the Prince Edward County suit came along and the Clarendon County suit came along, you were ready to challenge segregation head on?
Well, no, we challenged segregation head on in the suits. See, we filed, the other suits were all filed charging inequality under the 14th Amendment. But the Clarendon County case was filed in sort of a dual capacity. Thurgood was a little uneasy about it, but Judge Warren recognized it as being a challenge of the constitutionality of the statute, and he convened the three-judge court, and that's where it got started.